Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and good evening to the Film and Music Show on USA Global TV and Radio. We are broadcasting live from the UK, and today's guest on USA Global TV and Radio is our wonderful Alison Demarco. She is a tarot color card psychologist. She's an international author and speaker. She actually has a God-given talent to be able to read faces and personalities. She's also is a tarot reader in the way of helping you in the areas of wealth, health, career, and love life. So for today's guest, let's welcome the lovely Alison Demarco from Edinburgh. Good evening, Alison.
Good evening. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm really good. And you?
Yes, very well. I must admit, it's a good day. A little bit cloudy, but it was a bit sunny this afternoon, so it was really wonderful. So, Alison, for our viewers that don't know of you, can you briefly give a description of what you do, and then we can go on and talk about today's topics?
Well, briefly, I help people to become either motivated as well as looking at their personality, looking at their traits, and looking at how they can move forward to gain and get the best they can from themselves, looking at how they think, actually how they feel and what is going on for them in their life at that moment in time. Quite often it will link to maybe past trauma, childhood, all different things. But the point is tracing exactly where somebody is when they come in for an appointment and where they are in their life, in relationships, and how they can actually answer the questions that they've got. Because a lot of the time we continue to ask questions, but we don't actually find the answers.
Thank you for sharing that. Alison, wanted to ask you, with today's chaos and everything's going to be talking about disclosure and there's global changes and everything, how is that affecting your work as a psychologist, psychic, or even your NLP practice? Has that enhanced it, or has that made people feel more withdrawing from these practices?
Well, I think for the people that I see in life, they're perhaps just come to a crossroads. Usually, a lot of the time, they'll come in claiming to be stuck. And really, that's the whole motivation of looking towards their future. And again, it's about language as well, because I studied NLP. So I think in this moment in time, the world is, in my opinion, and probably many others, a bit upside down. And there are a lot of people suffering, but are they suffering from, today's turmoil, or is it the past? What exactly is going on for them? And I think there is a worry, because a lot of the time, maybe jobs are under threat. It piles on pressure. It then affects relationships, and things then can spiral out of control. And when there's so much negativity, again, people, certainly empaths, and people can really become affected by what's going on in the world. as well as their internal life.
So with the fact that empaths, Alison, I've been told that I'm an empath, and I know a lot of friends of mine that are empaths as well. Would you regard yourself as an empath too?
Well, I am. I care. My personality. This is where we go into personalities. So yeah, I guess I care. I care about animals. I care about people. I care about the world. An empath, yeah. But I think for me also, when we say empath, also we look at the personality to the coping structures, or how people present themselves, I think is really important, and how much the emotions affect the personality.
And with the fact, thank you for sharing that as well, Alison. So with being an empath and the way that the traits of an empath, it's about establishing healthy boundaries. What would you say in your life you would consider as healthy boundaries in your line of work? In
my line of work,
Yes.
apart from the fact, I mean, I'm professional. I look at life. I've got training. So the main thing about working with people is to afterwards switch off and just not to take on board, because if your purpose in life is to help other people and you have the training and the skills to do so, then you're going to help them to the best of your ability. If you buy into their personal drama, then of course it will begin to affect you. But I don't do that. And in my life, I've experienced so much drama on an emotional level. I can relate to people, but I also know that the most important thing is to become in control of your mind and to really motivate yourself, and not allow the chatterbox to run away with itself with all the what if questions, etc., etc.
So with also the fact that you, which is a great, wonderful way of working with your clients and how you establish your healthy boundaries, because they're bringing a lot of energy of past trauma or past life regression or even current life. How do you clear your energy at the end of the day?
I clear my energy because I personally, for me, I believe in God, and I always put a prayer up before actually when I get up in the morning, but before I work with anyone, and then afterwards I thank whoever's around me, and I mean that in what I call my higher management, and I thank the universe, call it, and I thank God, and I actually just take my hands around the outside of my body, and I imagine golden light just coming from them, clear them, take a deep breath, move on, and then you're going on to the next thing.
What a wonderful way to say that, actually, Alison. I listened to it, higher management. How wonderful. That's a new way of expressing to contact your higher self or your higher, that's wonderful. In fact, that goes in the books, definitely. Higher management.
Yeah, so, they manage.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's not so serious, as everybody's very serious. How do you deal with, Alison, when you have someone that is so serious in obtaining a result, or for example, they've already decided that no, it's not going to work. They've already set that intention. No, okay, I'll go there for a laugh. How do you deal with people like this?
Okay, well, I would say I would err on saying 100% of people who come to me are seeking help, guidance, and support. And I keep myself centered because I know that I am there to help people. That's my purpose. That's why I'm there. That's why they're going to pay me. And they're going to come in And at the end of the day, I can offer them guidance. But a lot of what it is about rapport. And when someone, and you do get the ones who, you know, they'll say, oh, I was only testing you. And then they become your best friend. But the point is when I know exactly why someone has come to see me from their color choices, I know how they're going to react because of their face, and we create rapport. Either I can just copy their behavior, I can copy their looks, but it is about creating that space for them to feel that they can trust me enough. And usually what happens, they'll say to me, wow, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, and the reason why is because I've already told them what has happened to them, the implications, and then they will open up on a deeper level about how they're feeling, etc., etc. And then we're going to move forward to get resolution. And sometimes I've got to be quite tough because I do, you know, what they say, tough love. I don't allow people to remain in a victim state. And sometimes that means being coming out of probably my comfort zone, but actually knowing how I can awaken this client into waking up to see the patterns, their thinking, and their belief systems that basically probably no longer work for them. But I think a lot of it too is when you listen and really listen to people, when they ask a question, 90% of the time it's a generalization. And that's where I come in on the NLP, because I'll ask them to define what is it. I have no idea what you're talking about. So let's sit down, let's get this down. And usually I'll then bring out a pen and paper and follow their train of thought so I don't lose any of it, and then feed it back to them. And then I'll ask them, what evidence do they have?
That's amazing how you're sharing all this. I was going to say and mention humility. Humility came into my mind when you were speaking.
Yeah.
The way that you're very humble and you have humility, but also the key word trust. Trust in your profession. So in the way of trust, how do you relate to the people that come along? Do you go to where they're coming from their understanding, or do you go in as the psychologist straight away? How do you, can you share with us?
Sure.
How you do?
I mean, when somebody comes to me, the first thing I'm going to say to them is, please choose 4 colors that you're drawn to and 4 colors that you're not drawn to from my color tarot cards set of 49 cards. They do that. Immediately, I know exactly why they're there. I know what's going on for them, and I know. So slowly and very gently and being very careful. So say for example, somebody had been abused in childhood. You're pretty sure I'll know that. Actually had a reading today, and that was the exact, you know. So I would go along very gently in my language that I would use to them, and only by them then building up this rapport, then we can move that forward, and also look at what survival mode they're in now, what were they in then, and that builds trust and with them. Because if you imagine that somebody actually knows what happened to you many years ago as an outcome, as a survival mode, etc., then that 100% builds up trust. But at the same time, I'm looking at them, and I'm also looking at for either their eye movements, which is NLP, but I'm also looking at just their face and the characteristics of their face, and what language do they want me to use. If I mismatch language, then I will not build rapport. So if someone's talking in I think, then I have to respond in my response has to be, so this is what you think, and etc. Or they may say feel, sense, or so we just really got, and it depends if they're folding their arms, just as long as we can build that trust and that rapport with that person. So I'm doing the face reading, but I'm doing the color, but I also do oracle cards. But most importantly, or one of the most important things throughout the whole reading will be NLP, which is basically looking at their conversation. How are they talking? What language are they using? What information are they deleting? What have they added to the scenario? And that is so important, because then I can go back and say to them, I just don't understand the sentence that you've made. I don't understand your question. And then we'll break that question down.
So with the fact, thank you for sharing that, Alison, with the fact that we have the film and music show. So let's say actors, they train for that role, they become that character, they become the whole essence of this. How do you know if someone's coming along and acting? How do you have true discernment?
Well, there's one thing that I've always held with me, because there's time, if you think that you're doing these readings blind, inverted commas, and you need to give that person the best that you can. I've just held this as my go-to, which is that I'm just there to help people, and they've come to me because they need help, and that's how it works. I don't think of anything other than doing the best I can for that person, whether it's in 10 minutes, half an hour, or an hour. Most importantly, is to help them identify their either their beliefs, which are usually outdated, their survival mode. And once we've identified, even down to the point of personality. So, for example, in personality, even like today, I said to someone, have you considered starting your own business? Because you'd be very successful. And this is the reason why you'd be successful, because you're a visionary. But you also have data. And that means you can see the beginning of a picture, the end of the picture, then work together to create the picture. It's because a lot of people don't have the confidence, the self-belief in themselves. And usually they think, this is where they lack confidence, whether it's been in relationships that have gone wrong, that it's their fault and they could have done better, or they don't feel that that they can let, inverted commas, let go of that person. At the end of the day, you can't let it go, because it's in your brain, it's in the hard drive, in your computer. So I've got to find ways of helping to motivate them and move them forward realistically with the values that they have and the attributes and the personality, and look at and find their potential.
Absolutely fascinating. Your work is absolutely groundbreaking. So what we have now, Alison, is a picture, or maybe even two pictures, that our producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, is going to present for us. And there you go. There she is, the lovely Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. So from this picture, I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? So she's a beautiful goddess. So with regards to Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, this beautiful picture of this woman, say you don't know Dr. Jacqueline, right? No. So what can you tell from this profile about face personality to analyze this?
Okay, so the first thing I'd look at is that she's water in her face. That's water. So that the water element is creative. They've also got data, so they're knowledgeable. They have a purpose to help other people. The thing is about the water is that it's all about really unemotional. So, but they're to a level of the water. I would say that her personality in the system that I learned, very luckily, because it's not out there, is that she's what we would call the actress. Now, that does not mean she would want to be on stage, and I don't know, because I don't know. But it can mean that she's actually quite introvert in herself, extrovert in nature. That's able to communicate great, because water people are great communicators. They're visionaries, they're creative, and they can really, put things down and get things down. And I think for her, so that means if the actress sounds true to her, 100% she's water, and I would definitely say actress, right? What does that mean? So we use the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. So she would be, you just took the picture away, but it's fine. I know them. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I know. Anyway, so she would be, for her personality, she would be water first, and she'd be fire second. And that means the second element that we look at is always in the box. So when it's a sort of element that you don't really want to come out the box, because when it comes out the box, it can be a drama. And then as quickly as not, it goes back in the box. So once, the fire in the box says their piece, everything's back to everything being fine. The third element is air, and this then makes the male character. So we're all yin and yang, male and female. So her male character would be the observer, and that's when she'll switch. She'll suddenly start observing people. Is air, so that's about knowledge and intellect, and but can look to others, wanting information, wanting knowledge, always wanting to learn, in other words. And the last element is earth. So we tend to go towards our last element, and her last element being earth means down to earth, suddenly wanting to go to the countryside or retire or to the countryside. But certainly earth is also the psychic, the intuitive, the spiritual, and it's the grounding energy of just being free and have freedom without any stress or anxiety. So that's just a little, but I also think, because I look at the temperament as well, I just wondered if you could return to you knew I was going to ask that. So I think her temperament, so to understand the temperament, it's in the shape of the body. And so her temperament is air. And that can be all linked to travel, movement, change, and also, again, it's intellect, but it can be the butterfly. So sometimes just, taking on too much, and then emotionally, because if you think about air blowing on water, which is the first element in her face, it can cause waves. So it can cause emotional, because in the basis of it is they want to help. This personality wants to help other people. That's their remit. And the air is the intellect and the knowledge to do it. But quite often the air personality, if you look at certain things, they can be just a bit chaotic when, by taking on too much and then becoming a bit overwhelmed. So does that make any sense?
That's absolutely amazing. Oh, she just brought another picture here in the way that you were saying about the actress and how she's an observer. So this is Dr. Jacqueline, the elevated listener, in the way that she has the mothership of USA Global TV and Radio, and then she has the listening mentor. So it's very descriptive, as you were saying, Alison.
Good.
It's profound. It's absolutely profound in the way that you've used elements, how to describe the face and the character of it.
It goes a lot deeper, because actually we can do from that, we can work out different aspects of the person. And that means, so there's 12 different personalities, 12 different aspects. So we can find the shadow. And so her shadow, so if you were to provoke her, thinking, because maybe people see the water, they see, she's emotional, whatever. But if they were to provoke her, she would go into, she may go into her opposite, her male, which is the observer. But the likelihood she'd go into the logician, because she doesn't suffer fools. So, if someone was trying to make out that something that made her or triggered her, her knowledge would be extensive, and she would come back as what we call the logician, and she would be right in there with an answer.
Which makes total sense in the way that she is the founder and the creator of USA Global TV and Radio, and the fact that she has to take on these personality. This is her actual natural personality. So the universe chose her for this in the way.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we can also find out, when people are in relationships, struggling, or just relationships, let's just call it relationships, 99.9% of the time, we are attracted to one of our last two elements. So we're attracted. So in her way, she would be attracted to an air, or she would be attracted to an earth. So she could be air earth, or she could be earth air. And this just tells us so much about our relationships. And quite often when relationships don't work, then I can do just put down the elements of the personalities by a photo and of the partner, and know exactly why that relationship's not working, or what they can do to enhance and develop that relationship. Doesn't mean to say it just doesn't work. It just look at how we can get it to work.
I've got to congratulate you. That's next level relationship counseling, isn't it? That is absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. Yeah. What Dr. Jacqueline's just addressed now, what type is a bully? What type is a bully?
Well, I just think anyone can be a bully, and I believe that when we have issues in childhood where we've either been abused or we've been bullied, you're going to go one way or another. You're going to go introvert, or you're going to go extrovert, and you'll go, into introvert where you back off, or extrovert where you lash out. So I don't think there is one. But in saying that, that's the ones that tend to have that fire energy first is, and you can see them. They're what we call the fool, and they're not. The fool's not a fool as such. Very clever, but they're fire. But he's probably unlikely to be. He might be a bully, but probably the warrior. The warrior is usually, there's something about the warrior, something to do with, quite often you find them working as, bouncers outside nightclubs. They're the boss. They're into athletics, they're into the gym, but they can use their fire. So it's like any of us. We can use any of the elements positively or negatively, and the fire element can be either done as the boss, who kind of says, yeah, hurry up, why have you not finished that? Or they can just be, depending on their temperament, they can just be a little calmer. So fire is a really good subject, the fire, especially in children, because we tend to put a fire child misbehaving and loud and bullying, and we tend to put them with a water just by nature to calm them down. Well, I know what I'd do. I'd put a fire with a fire, let them fight it out, but we're not allowed to do that now.
Sorry.
What was that last question?
It's so phenomenal. I am an introvert. This is what Dr. Jacqueline says, but appear to be an extrovert. So,
yes,
yeah, in a way that there's a lot of people that are introvert, but then can be extrovert.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's because it's true. So it's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Water in her face is the introvert, and so that's her main personality is the water personality. But now what I said was she's got an air temperament. And the air temperament, of course, is, they're just extrovert by nature. And it's interesting because people think we should only be introvert or extrovert. No. It's the body shape will determine how the personality behaves to a degree. So an air water, over analyzing, overthinking, constant, lots of things to do, always got things to do, but can actually then feel exhausted because emotionally they're overthinking. if that makes sense. But
Yes.
the air in her body shape is the extrovert, and we've got to remember that, because especially when it comes to, you know, trying to put people in pigeonholes or anything like that, it's just to take the person as a whole. You know, in other words, what colors did they choose? What are they telling in that story? What's their face saying? What's their language? What's their body shape saying? And we're giving off information all the time. So it's really interesting and a great question.
Wonderful golden wisdom there in every way. So, Alison, sometimes when I'm interviewing, I sometimes get downloads, and I just got a download. I don't know, it just happens. Right. So when a corporate company hires someone as a consultant, they go in and they look at the way that the behavior of how someone's doing a job. So let's say, Alison, wouldn't it be wonderful that you went into corporate companies and you started to look at everyone's personality and read their face, so that the bosses can understand their employees and the employees can understand the employer? Wouldn't it be wonderful? That'd be great.
I have actually done that, and I do that. Not very often, but yeah, I do that, and it's team building, whereby I will look at. Personally, I'm not doing this. I will give people a questionnaire to choose a specific. They answer the questions, and based on the questions they answer, this is when I will put them in a category, because it's team building. So I'll put them into a color, into that group. So everybody in that group, so it could be blue, green, yellow, red, and then I will give them a task. And this is where it becomes it's great fun, because usually how I begin it is for the group to choose the leader, who's going to be the one that's going to be in charge of completing the task and getting everybody's information.
Hello. Hi, Alison. We seem to have lost Alison at the moment. So sometimes it happens like this. It's live broadcast. So before she comes along back into the studio, I just want to have a special mention to the lovely Glenda Benavides. If it wasn't for Glenda, then I would not have met the lovely Alison Demarco. Alison's from Edinburgh, and Glenda and Alison have known each other for a long time. And as we're saying, USA Global TV and Radio, we welcome, it's a community, and therefore we respect, love, and support each other, and we help each other with our brands. We help each other with our brands to bring on. And I just want to say a big special mention to our sponsor, Ari K. Barrier, international songwriter and producer, and he has also financed music videos as well. And he is also being part of a new film that's coming up, which I can't actually disclose. Well, actually, it's called The Hidden Garden, with Sean Guerrero, who's a singer, artist, and an actor. And he's got together with Audie as well as other people, and Audie is part of that as well. Want to just say thank you to our producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, today, which is wonderful. I do believe, hopefully, that Alison will be coming back. Okay. Right. Sometimes, like I said, in live transmission, broadcast, this is what happens. So I would like to put a special mention to the Film and Music Show. We welcome anyone from the film and music, whether you're established, not established, whether you're a student that wants to embark in a career in the film and music industry. We welcome it all, because USA Global TV and Radio stands for hope, education, edutainment, stands for brand awareness, stands for community support, about innovation, about bringing forth new ideas and helping to support new ideas that help to support the collective earth, to bring the new earth with the collective consciousness. So my name is Dr. Madalene Chan, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm also a Soul-Heart Awakener. And what I do, I help people to tap into, to connect to their heart, to their soul heart mission, to their creative genius within. And I do this with helping to understand from the outside reality of the world, but relate it to our inner world. For our inner world is now becoming at such a volume that we need to connect to our inner world and external world. So we have that perfect balance. So here's my, yes, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, for showing my website. Yeah, that's lovely. So it shows the Soul-Heart Awakener, award-winning artist. And here's my mission. My mission is to help everyone who wants to be helped to activate their soul song, activate their soul frequency, activate their heart and soul mission, activate their life so that they can enjoy and be in vibrational alignment to their life. I'm also a novelist. I have Star Child here. Star Child is about overcoming fear into love. No one dies. What happens is they just go on to another planet of learning. So they transcend. They ascend to another planet for other learning. And it's about helping Mother Earth because of all the toxic. And then I have a book, Words of Divine Love and Wisdom, which is poetry and sonnets. If you buy this book, or if you even look at this book, what happens is it will help you to, it might trigger you in some way, but what it will do is activate you, help you to transcend or make the transition, from a 3D perspective, 3D life as we know it, to the understanding, to the acceptance, to the rebirthing of the new you, which we're all in that stage anyway. I've also, I've got $2, from a $2 daughter to a cosmic goddess. This is about my life in lessons. A lot of people say, wow, you're so blessed. You have this, you do that, but no one knows, hardly anyone knows the work behind it. Nobody knows all the pain, the trauma, the adversity, the lessons, the betrayal. Wow, we have so much, like many other people have. But what I chose to do is not dwell on that and not remain as a victim. I chose to rise through that, through co-creating on a daily basis, whether that's going out for a walk, seeing things new, accepting new things in my life rather than staying in that victimhood. I had to train myself. I worked with Mother Earth. I worked with nature itself to help me heal. There you go. Here she comes. Lovely Alison. Are you there, Alison? Is it lovely Alison? Yes. She's coming through. So what we can do is show Alison's website. Is that okay with you, Alison? We're going to go and show your website so you can explain to us. So here we have your AlisonDemarco.com.
Sure.
Okay. So we have, I think we have to, do we have to click on that cross, that circle across? Yeah, there we go. Here we go. So tarot, lovely picture, by the way, Alison. Beautiful. So tarot color card reading. So would you like to share with us, Alison, about your website, please? There you go. Alison, could you share with us your website, please? Explain to us.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the tarot color cards, they do transform lives and help people become motivated. I mean, that's the whole thing, to move forward. So again, I do them online or I do them in person in Edinburgh.
Fantastic. And moving forward, we're scrolling forward, down. Here we go. We have the I see corporate team building. Right. Yes. What we were speaking to before. And my readings. I love that jacket, that pink jacket in the pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
You.
So do you have a premises for your business, or do you operate from your home location?
Yeah, no, I have a shop in Edinburgh and work from there.
Fantastic. Psychic. So you've had books out there.
Yeah.
What have you written in the books? I mean, what I meant is that.
Okay, so the first one was an autobiography.
Yes.
Which it was a strange journey, and it was published. So that was my first book. The second one involved Sammy Ling, the first Buddhist center in the West, with Dr. Akon Toku Rinpoche, who, when he saw me, said he would be my overseer and granted me a Dharma center. And yeah, everything was amazing. Journey was incredible, and ended up in India and various different things. The third one was a book based on my childhood in part, but it's just a story about a young girl goes on a motorbike, goes in a coma, and experiences the spiritual world. And she looks down on Edinburgh and the people in it and what they're up to, and etc. So that's the three, and I'm writing another one at this moment in time.
And what's the name of the book of when you were a little girl on the motorbike? The second book you mentioned.
So that's Loman. Yeah, Loman's Awakening is that one. And the first one is Dark Storm, Golden Journey. The second one is the signature from Tibet, because I ended up with this very rare signature. And the third one is Loman's Awakening. And then the fourth one is Loman's something. I haven't got there yet, but I've written quite a lot of it.
You're an absolutely amazingly God-given, amazingly talented woman, a power force within yourself in every way. Alison, what type of people would you like to connect with you? Could you share that with our viewers? And could you tell us where they can connect to you, how they can contact you?
So they can connect with me. They can contact me online. They can go to the website, fill in a form, or they can just email me direct. All the information's on the website, AlisonDemarco.com. AlisonDemarco646@gmail.com, or the website is AlisonDemarco.com. And so there's plenty of ways, and I've got social media, etc., which is mostly under Tarot Readings 55, and that's Facebook, Instagram, etc., and Google.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Alison. You've been an absolutely phenomenal, mind-blowing, heart-glowing guest on the Film and Music Show. It's phenomenal how you read Dr. Jacqueline's Quebec face, just the photo, and got all these beautiful character traits of her. It's fabulous. And we wish you a lot of success in every way. It's so required, is face personality analysis. And I would say to anyone out there, please do contact Alison. Thank you for being a wonderful guest. And please do come back, because we need to talk. It would be lovely to talk about your books.
Absolutely. I'd be delighted to. So thank you for having me on, and it's been lovely chatting.
Oh, it's been an honor and a blessing in every way to have you on this show for today. Thank you so much. Okay. And we'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Okay.
Thanks, Alison.
Bye.
Bye. And there you go. The lovely, talented, brilliant, brilliantly intuitive, lovely Alison Demarco. So anyone else who'd like to come on board the Film and Music Show, please do come on to USA Global TV and Radio.com/film and music and go on there and book your session. We are now open for mid-October up to the end of the year now. So we welcome everyone. We're here to support everyone. This is what we're all about. My name is Dr. Madalene Chan. Thank you so much for allowing me to present the film and music and share with you all these golden nuggets of wisdom through our guests on the Film and Music Show. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.